Hey everyone, Andrew here, and I wasn't planning to do this video. Like, legitimately, I didn't even know about this film that I'm going to be talking about before yesterday. And because I had a completely different video planned for this month, and I already knew what I was going to be talking about and how I was going to talk about it. But then I saw this, and I just kind of had to talk about it. So I've been working on a new format for videos like this that's kind of like my fighting the hate, spreading the joy, but it's basically me taking a look at films that are just fully insane and just kind of leave you wondering, like, what the heck did I just watch? Or, what the F did I just watch? So, like, this was a new series that I actually was planning to do and had a completely different movie in mind to do that with. But then I saw this and I had to, because I just watched a film called Baby Cat, and it just left me wondering, what the heck was Baby Cat? Yeah, like I said, this series is going to be called What the Heck Was That? But you can also think of it as What the Fuck Was That? WTF Was That? Whichever you prefer. But for censoring reasons, I'm going to call it What the Heck Was That? And it's just me looking at films that have an insane premise that doesn't really make sense, or really you try, and then I have to try and break it down and explain why a film was so insane. And I've seen a bunch over the years, and my goal with this one is to do like films that I discovered on my own, not things that were like I watched, Nostalgia Critic or Cinema Snob talk about and then me covering it again. So it's me trying to do ones that are obscure-ish. I try not to watch trash. Like, I do. I legitimately try not to watch trashy films. If I do watch them, it tends to be things like a Riff Tracks or a Mystery Science Theater thing. But sometimes I stumble on stuff that is just insane, and I have to talk about it. And Baby Cat is one of those. This is a new film, came out just this year. It was basically made for the streaming service Tubi, which is a free streaming service, and they started doing their own original content. And if you saw my worst of last year's films, I talked about one of their streaming ones called Shark Side of the Moon, which was terrible, but at least kind of was entertaining. Baby Cat, on the other hand, is definitely barely entertaining in any way. It is fairly awful. It is honestly up there with some of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, Baby Cat is just an insane premise to start. So the plot of the story is that we have a young woman named Dana Masters, who's played by a unknown named Natalie Cotter, and majority of this film is unknowns that no one has ever heard of. So Dana has just moved into the big city. She's moving out to LA for her job, where she just agreed to work in the smaller firm of it.
Yeah. You new to LA?
Yeah, I just got transferred here for work.
It's easy to forget what a mountainous city this is.
And she's checking out her new apartment building, and they hear a loud noise, and she asks the super, it's like, oh, what was that? And they're like, oh, that's the neighborhood cat.
What was that?
Building cat.
They're like, okay. And then this woman in a sexy cat outfit comes crawling in, and Dana's like, oh, what the heck is that? And they're like, oh, that's the neighborhood cat.
Oh. What are you doing?
Oh, that's just the building cat. Well, neighborhood cat, I suppose. She kind of just goes around the building.
And Dana looks at the cat girl and looks at the landlord. She looks at the cat, and she's like, but that's a human woman. And they're
This is very clearly a woman in a cat suit.
Well, that may be true, but it is a free country.
The landlord is like, yeah, we know, but she acts like a cat and she's just here. So they blatantly ignore the fact that she's a human woman. And that premise alone is just the tip of the iceberg of insanity that is this story. But my God, is that an insane point to start out on, of woman pretends to be a cat and everyone just accepts it. Like, I've come across some insane plots, but that is up there. Like, that is worse than Love on a Leash, which is about a woman who fell in love with a dog. Because she fell in love with the human who when he's a human at night and a dog during the day. But this is just a full-on insane woman who thinks she's a cat, and everyone just accepts it. Yes, and right away, early on in this, you can tell you can tell how bad this is going to be, because the entire first chunk of this is filmed on a green screen, and this is the worst green screens I've ever seen in anything ever. Like, I don't know anything about green screening. I don't know how to do it or anything of that nature. I think my first attempt at a green screen would be better than anything in this thing. Like, because, jeez Louise, is this terrible in every sense. Like, so, it's bad enough that these are obviously green screens, but they're also badly lit. Badly focused. These screens will just shift and move on their own.
Kind of thing. More power to them. To the max.
Or change. There's also times where they'll start a scene with the green screen and the character will start on one side of the screen and then just pop over to the other side of the screen for no reason.
I'll do it.
It's the worst. And it doesn't even make sense because nothing in this film justifies using a green screen. Like, there's no action scenes that need a green screen. There's no real fighting scenes or insane concepts that require a green screen. You know, there's no army of robots or anything of that nature that you have to do a green screen with. The green screens are like an alleyway.
I didn't even know we had those.
A gym.
Always ready.
This lady's front door.
LA has him by the score.
That's the weirdest one. It's like Dana, whenever she opens her front door, has this insane view that could not exist in reality.
Hey.
Hey.
You?
Yeah.
Welcome to the building. I'm Max Power.
Create a new breed of super soldier.
Like, there's no one's front door out. No one looks out their front door and sees this. Like, it's insane. It's just, and it just gives you, and that's the thing of, like, this is what this director is known for, is his really bad green screening effect. And my God, like, to be known for that is just, you're like, how the heck do you get more work? Like, my God. Plus, the director of this also wrote the script. He has like 40 credits to his name, and they're all like ones nobody's ever heard of. Like, it's just insane in every sense of the word. Getting back to the plot. So Dana Masters leaves the cat lady, decides she's going to go into work, to find out that she is one of 3 employees in the entire office, and the other 2 are her bosses.
Where are my coworkers?
TBD. TBD. We're working on that.
And one of her bosses is just this insane guy who walks around the office talking to people and giving speeches and encouraging the sell, this, that, and the other to empty chairs.
Let me tell you one thing. I'm an asshole. Let me tell you 2 things. Half of you are not going to be here next year, and that's okay with me, because that just means there's more power and more money for the rest of us.
And Dana eventually just figures out or decides, like, oh, this guy was one of the founders of the company, and he went insane. And instead of firing him and dealing with that, they just gave him a fake office to keep him away from screwing up the main company's business. and that she volunteered to do this without realizing what it was. So she goes home after the insane day at work, and the cat girl shows up again, and she's like, you know what? You pretending to be the cat is the least insane thing I've seen today.
My life is so weird. You're like the thing that makes the most sense.
To which I say, no, that's still the most insane thing you've seen today. An insane guy talking to chairs does not beat cat woman who acts like a cat and everyone accepts it. I'm sorry, no. But she starts having sexual feelings for the cat girl.
What the fuck am I doing?
Stay out.
Except it wasn't a cat. It was a woman who was dressed like a cat. And for some reason, society treats as a cat. And I just spent like 2 hours masturbating to it after it happened.
And the cat girl apparently reciprocates because it does not take long for them to start having sex.
I walked right into that one.
Which is weird because when the cat girl seduces her, she comes in standing up like a human being. Every time after that they interact, the cat girl acts like a cat.
This is the oddest thing yet.
So Dana starts treating her like a cat for the most part. Buys her cat toys, gets her a cat bed, feeds her like a cat. But anytime that they get horny, they have sex, and it's like anytime Dana starts to try to like understand the cat girl or get to know her, this and the other, the cat girl either ignores her like a real cat would do.
Did you just sleep here all day? Like, do you have a job or? Yes, you.
Or rips off her top so that they can have sex.
That was a stunt. That was a stunt. I don't even know if I should be angry right now or if. Okay.
And I find it interesting that they're doing that considering it's a lesbian relationship, because I have a hard time believing that you can distract another girl by just taking off your top that easily. Like, I can totally see it working for boys or men, because I totally know guys that were, like, in the middle of a heated conversation and their woman took off the top and they're like, I don't remember what we were talking about. Like, I've met those guys. I've also been that guy on occasion, but yeah. But I have a hard time believing that would work for the woman, because the woman would be like, yes, you have boobs, so do I. Your point. We were having a serious discussion about the fact that you don't talk to me. Yeah, and that's another thing about this, is that it's shot and treated like it's a porno or a softcore porno at best, but the nudity and the sex is so barely there. Like, the only person who really gets nude is the cat, and it's only for like brief seconds at a time. And then they're like, oh, we have sex, but they just immediately cut away from it. So it's like, So the film really can't decide what it wants to be. So the majority of this film is padding. There's a lot of random scenes, like Dana will go to a gym and work out, and the gym is just filled with random stupid things for no reason. And it's a lot of like, oh, let's put the cat girl in a cat-like situation, and yeah. During all of this, there's also these weird scenes where they will go talk. There's this mysterious crime boss who's always in shadow and you can't see him, and he's talking to one of his subordinates.
They said it was one person.
Again, how could they do it?
You know, it was dark. Maybe there was more than just one person.
And he's like, oh, hey, people keep attacking our supplies and our this, and what is that? And like, oh, it's this thing known as the bear. it has the strength and the power of a bear, and we have to try and figure out what it is and stop it.
Once again, the city is safe from crime and havoc, thanks to the mysterious figure known as the Bear.
And yeah, and it only exists to set up the weird third act climax. So Dana's been in the relationship with the cat for a while, kind of going a little crazy from it because she's in a significant relationship with a person who acts like a cat and never responds when she talks to her, type of thing. Dana's mother shows up at one point, and she's like, I don't want to try to explain this weird relationship I have with this cat lady. So she takes her mom out to a restaurant to have a normal conversation.
The food, I think.
But the cat girl shows up, and she's in normal clothing, and gives her real name, and is like explaining to the mom, oh yeah, no, I'm friends with your daughter, she's great, she has a really nice place, it's really safe.
Oh, is this your sister?
She invited me. I'm Dana's friend Lori. It's a pleasure to meet her mother.
And Dana is just staring at the cat girl the entire time going, what the heck? Like, I try to talk to you about normal small things and you won't respond, but you do all this for my mother. Like, what?
All about yourself, Lori, darling.
Yes, yes. Lori, please do.
Oh, I came to LA, did this, did that.
Trying to figure things out. Basically, Dana and the cat girl get into a fight. She kicks the cat girl out. Doesn't want to see her anymore. Then Dana gets captured by the mysterious crime lord.
We have never met, but for the last months you have been rather a vexing side in my operations in the city. I have lost so much drugs to you.
What kind of drugs?
Who has hired this person from the government who created the bear. And it's like, oh yeah, this was a girl that I did scientific experiments on, and now she has the strength and willpower of the bear.
The woman you gave there the power of the bear.
It took years, but once she got that stimulant in her body, she became so powerful, like a Mac tank.
And the scientist sees Dana and goes, that's not the bear. They're like, but it was all, this is the only woman that everyone interacted with. It has to be her. And then it turns out that the cat girl is the genetic military experiment that has the strength of a bear. And she puts on this skimpy power suit.
Meow.
Goes down, kills all of the crime lord's minions.
And thinks he's gonna show up? No.
Goes to rescue Dana.
Dana? Yeah? Meow.
She ends up fighting the crime lord, who injects himself with the serum that created the cat girl's powers. And then the crime lord immediately dies, because that's not how the serum works.
Ravzi.
Doesn't work that way.
I also need to point out that the crime lord constantly was in shadow, but in this last scenes you can see him full on, and you can and it's like they have a different person playing the voice than the person playing the body, because you can tell because the sync is so bad. It is legitimately worse than the sync in Kung Pao Into the Fist, which was made for comedic purposes to make fun of the bad English dubbing.
Great, now I have the power of the bear. I have the power of the bear, the strength, the ferocity. I have the power.
I implore you to reconsider.
And I can't tell if this was done on purpose or not. I can see it going either way with how insane this film is. So Dana gets rescued by the cat girl. They take down the crime organization. Dana ends up losing her job.
We are curious if you're willing to work from home. Mr. Simon has come to terms with his employee situation on site.
And goes back to her apartment and is sad, and then there's a ring at the doorbell, and the delivery man who's been showing up randomly throughout the entire film shows up, leaves a box at the door, and inside is the cat girl. And Dana's like, okay, you want to stay with me for a bit more? And they end up getting back together, happily ever after, roll credits.
Take me home. Who will love me as much as I love them.
What the heck did I just watch? Like, jeez Louise. Like, oh my god, this is bad. This is just plain awful. Like, between the terrible green screening, the bad effects, the nonsensical story, the pointless story, the characters that are there for no reason and have no purpose whatsoever. Just this clusterfuck of terrible ideas put together for no discernible reason. Like, seriously, what the heck was this? Like, I get that it's a to-be original, which means it's automatically going to be on a poor scale. And I also understand, you can tell from watching this that they were trying to make a so bad it's good film. The problem with that being is that to make a so bad it's good film, you have to actually be trying to make a good film and just be completely inept at it. At least that's my personal opinion. Like, I find the ones that tend to work best for that were like legitimately trying to be a good film. The Room, Love on a Leash, and Samurai Cop. When you try to make a so bad it's good film, you tend to make just a terrible, terrible film. Like, the best way to kind of compare the two is to compare Samurai Cop 1 to Samurai Cop 2. Now, Samurai Cop 1 is a bad film that is good because they tried. Like, it was a low-budget film made in the 80s. They had, they had a bad director, they had bad writing, they had to film on a nothing budget, they had to work around the fact that the main actor cut his hair between the first shots and the reshots, so he just randomly has a terrible wig at certain points in the film. But it's all culminates in this thing that is bad but enjoyable to watch because you can see the effort and the energy, and it makes it funny and it makes it interesting and it makes it entertaining. Versus Samurai Cop 2, where they're trying to cash in on the so bad it's good quality of the first, so they try to make a film that's so bad it's good, and what they end up making is an unwatchable, terrible mess that has no real redeeming qualities whatsoever. Like, it is atrociously bad. Like, it is hard to watch bad. And that is large chunks of this. Like, just certain characters and certain scenes are just so ridiculous and over the top. You're just rubbing your skull because it's like, oh, this is hurting my brain. Anything with the delivery guy is just the works. He will not shut up. He constantly brings up tipping. I was like, oh, you don't have to tip me. This is automatically tipped.
Once again, still not a tip situation. I shouldn't linger around waiting for a tip.
And I wouldn't normally gripe about a tip, but that's a serious flight of stairs and she's very heavy.
He will not shut up about tips. Everything in the gymnasium, everything involving the crime boss who just won't stop talking about nothing. Oh.
This is unfortunate. People want drugs. My rivals want drugs. People who can make money off it. Only so many of them would rather it all be stolen. Maybe we get it back. People who goes to the police.
And that is this film mostly. Like, this film is just poorly done in every aspect, and you can tell they're trying to make it poorly done. Because, like I said, with those terrible green screen shots, they're doing that on purpose. Like, that is not something that is done entirely by accident. That is something that is done with some sort of level of intent behind it.
Hello? Hey, have you seen The Neighborhood Cat?
So much in this that is just cringy and terrible and horrible. Like I said, Tubi's the one distributing this, so you can tell they were kind of people behind it, because Tubi's mentioned twice for no reason.
Oh, if you're curious, my show, The Littlest Captain, is on Tubi. It's a CGI show about a child boat captain. I wrote like 2 episodes. I have a meeting with Tubi about developing a new show. Wish me luck. I'm free! I tell you, I'm free! Tubi wants 15 episodes about Jack Sprat who could eat no fat.
Because here's the thing, this could have been a So Bad It's Good film had they tried legitimately to do it as straight as possible, because it has moments where it falls almost under that. The boss walking around the empty office yelling at inanimate things and empty chairs almost kind of works. The batshit insane finale almost kind of works. The best part, I think, of the film is literally Natalie Cotter's performance as the lead Dana, who legitimately is trying to give a really good performance. Like, she is swinging for the fences. Like, she is trying to elevate this dreck into something watchable.
Look, I just want a normal 9 to 5. Okay, I want a normal apartment. I want a 6-pack abs. I do not want a government super soldier as my partner who in their free time dresses up as a cat. Tell me you love me. Tell me. God, tell me! No. I'm not okay.
Like, she legitimately tries to to elevate this film, and nearly almost does, but it does not make up for the insanity that is the majority of this film. Like, this is clearly a thing that was intended to be like a short. Like, it was only meant to be like 10 to 20 minutes, maybe half hour at most, and then they just stretched it out for as far as they could. And it's like, you can feel it. You can feel them filling time. You can feel them shooting nothing for the sake of nothing. And then there's the fact that the entire thing is shot like it's a porno. It's badly edited, badly put together. But then, like, while it's shot like a porno and it has softcore, like, you think it would have more softcore elements considering the amount of times they have nudity in this. But every time they do the nudity, it is like 5 seconds and it's over, and it's only ever the cat girl that ever gets really nude. And it's like, it happens like 3 or 4 times in the entire film, and it's like, they're like, oh, we're gonna go have sex, and they'll start, and it'll immediately cut, like within 20 seconds, and you're like, it's like, either be a softcore porno or don't, but stop trying to balance the two. Like, yeah, so, like, this is not the worst film I've ever seen, but it is definitely down there in the bottom with some of the worst films I've ever seen. This is the same level as, like, Roller Gator. This is the same quality as Be My Teacher, or even one of my least favorite films of all time, Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny. It is not worse than Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, but it's really hard to beat a film that is 90% just Santa sitting on a sled in the middle of a beach for no reason and does nothing. Like, that's a hard thing to beat, but something's going to at some point, I'm sure. And like, this has a moment or two that almost make it watchable, but overall it is legitimately one of the worst films I've seen, and I'm kind of giving away what's going to be in my top 5 worst films of 2023 with this, because this is probably still going to be number 1. We will find out when the time comes. My opinion might change, because, you know, I did also watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but we will find out at the end of the year. But what do you all think? Have you heard of this film? I highly doubt it, but if you have, what are your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? This is one where I'm like, you look at the reviews, and the reviews are insanely all over the board, because you either get the people that are like me who are like, this is god-awful, or you get the sarcastic people who are like, this is the best film I've ever seen. It really depicts the dynamics of being in love with your cat, or something like that. You can tell, like, this person is trying to be sarcastic, which is why they gave it 5 stars. But, like, it's still one of the most terrible things I've ever seen. But what do you all think? Let me know. Do you have any films that you would like me to do this with? I have a couple in mind. Like, I'm trying not to do ones that I saw through other people talking about them. So, like, I can't do the Samurai Cop or Love on a Leash because I didn't discover that myself to a certain extent. But I may change my mind on that, and if you guys really like me to do something on, like, Love on the Leash or something, let me know. Happy watching, happy reading. I will see you all next time. Bye!
All I know is some nonsense is going out on the street. Stupid, stupid, stupid nonsense.
Now the rest of you, I want to hear a big chant, a big primal cry, a hoorah! I can't hear you. That's more like it.
Good morning, chants.
This is an odd room.
My grandfather, they were big on the old ways of doing business.
Got you something. It's for you.
I want to assuage your fear and panic right now. In my expert opinion, we are dealing with a bat. A giant bat.
Yeah, Mom, I had a series of incidents, but I think it's all taken care of now. Also, I'm gay.
Well, that's what happens when you take bear cocaine.
You tampered in God's domain. Don't do that.
You want a key? Right. Sometimes I just wonder what she's doing.
Well, you can make her an indoor house cat.
She's a human being. How was your day?